Hi everyone, I'm here for Make Your Morning, so the final one of this week. First full week of doing these sessions at 7 o'clock, so 15 minutes every day at 7 o'clock to start your day in the right way. So very passionate about how you set up your day and how that impacts the rest of your day, your week, your month. So I've just created these sessions to really get people thinking about that and maybe more mindful and aware, but also in terms of it being winter, then it's a good time to well, not quite winter yet, coming into winter, it's a good time to really put that focus on yourself and just getting yourself energised earlier in the day. So I can see somebody's joined me, which is amazing. It's 7 o'clock, so we'll get straight into it. And today's topic is all about self-care. So what do I mean by self-care? So for me, it's anything that you do that has a positive impact on your well-being, on your overall health and your happiness. Now, we live in a world that's busy, and often people put a lot of pressure on themselves around, I've got all this stuff to do. I never feel like I get through my to-do list. And often because of that pressure that we put on ourselves, we are really putting ourselves at the bottom of the list. So we're not necessarily making that time for self-care, or if we do and put in that time, it maybe feels like it's a little bit self-indulgent. I hear it so often from people that maybe it's, well, is that not a bit selfish to make time for myself? Actually, I think it's so important, because you'll have heard the analogies of you can only pour from what's in your cup. And I do believe, if I've only got a little dribble of water in my cup, that's all I can give to other people. So as much as I want to give and support and be there for others, that's all I can give. You've also heard, when you've been on flights, the air stewardesses or stewards talking about, if there's an accident, put your oxygen mask on first before you help other people. And I liken self-care to those two analogies. So really topping yourself up, keeping yourself full to enable you to support and help other people as well. So there's a few things to think about in terms of self-care. If you are listening in today, why don't you just drop me a little comment in the comments box or the little chat section within YouTube as well. So today's a really exciting day for me. So I'm going to be launching my new website just very shortly after this session. It's going to be at karenbonner.com. So feel free to hop over there and have a look at the new site. On that site, there's lots of different resources for your self-care, for your well-being. And I've called it on my website the Wellbeing Treasure Chest. So go in there and just see what you can find. There's lots of different resources, but things that might give you some really good ideas in terms of your own self-care as well. So as always, before the session today, I made just a few notes to just get me thinking about what I wanted to kind of talk to you about and to kind of really reflect on. And some of the things that I was writing down there in terms of my own self-care journey is that it wasn't until I maybe had a few challenges within my life that I really noticed how, I guess, powerful and how important self-care was and how much benefit it could bring to my life. So for anybody who knows me, I often talk about buckets or use this idea of a pail and us all having this pail or bucket that kind of represents our life. So I want you to think about, through this session today, your self-care bucket, okay? So within your self-care bucket, what I want you to do is I want you to first of all draw a bucket, okay? And then I want you to draw little buckets or little squares within the main bucket. And within these little squares or buckets, just write all the different things that positively impact you. So what are all the different things that might be meeting up with friends, having a good chat? It might be, some of the things I like to do are around meditation or walking and running, getting out in the fresh air, reading a good book, might be watching a funny film, taking a bath. We're doing house renovations at the moment, and one of the most exciting parts of us getting into the house is having a bath. Don't get me wrong, I have been showering, don't worry, but I've not had a bath in my house for a few years now, and I love that in terms of just that chill time, getting some relaxation music on, candles, that sort of thing. For other people, self-care may be getting a kind of treatment or just getting a bit of time out of the house if you've got lots of children and just getting that time to kind of clear your head. So for everybody, self-care will look different, but there's some key component parts that I think are often consistent for people that are doing it regularly. Because for me, self-care has to become a habit. So for you to do it regularly, it has to become a habit. Now, we've talked a little bit about habits on these sessions before, and if you weren't on the live session around habits, do check out the video on the kind of YouTube archive, if you like. To make it a habit, doing your self-care at the same time of day, so that might be morning, first thing. It may be middle of the day to kind of rise your energy levels, and it may be in the evening too, when you've kind of had your dinner, you've had time to just do what you needed to do, and actually then you give yourself that little bit of time. If you're not making much time at all for yourself at the moment, I would recommend that you start small with the self-care time that you make. So start with small chunks, say 15 minutes that you're going to commit to in terms of your own self-care, and then you can build it up over time. So that's a couple of things to think about in terms of how you put that self-care attitude or approach into your life as well. Now, one of my good friends, Susan, I remember mentioning to me years ago the kind of phrase, be kind to yourself. And that is something that for me truly encompasses self-care, is actually being kind to yourself so that you can nourish yourself, so that you can be in a good place to then be able to be kind to other people as well. So it's a win-win, not only for yourself, for the people that you love and care about as well, for the people you work with, for your attitude, for your overall mindset, mental health. Also a huge part for me of self-care is your physical health as well. So in terms of that physical health, for me, it's doing regular exercises. It's maybe doing yoga or running or walking, whatever it is for you. It might be doing Zumba, a bit of dance, bringing in some extra steps to your day. There's so many different ways that you can bring in that physical exercise. I've also got a little resource on my website, which is called A House of 4 Rooms, and it looks at the 4 different rooms that we should be stepping into each day. So we've talked about physical health, and we looked at that the other day as well on one of the videos. Mental health we've talked about a little bit, so our mindset, our affirmations, so setting an intention for the day, learning something new can all help with our mindset, asking good questions to ourselves. So if we're going into a bit of a spiral, we can ask ourselves a question as to, what could I do about this? Who could I get support with? From what action could I take? And that can sometimes help impact our mindset as well. Our emotional health, and that's for me all about how we feel. And often in our body, people think our feelings are emanating from our head. Actually, they're coming mostly from this kind of chest, heart center area, and from our stomach area. That's why we sometimes feel the kind of butterflies in our stomach, the tightness in our chest as well. And one of the things that has really helped me in terms of emotional well-being is shifting my perspective. So I've talked about gratitude before, so being grateful for all the really good things that are going on in your life and actually practicing that, journaling that, saying it out loud. What I would encourage you to do in terms of that emotional health is to really make that a regular practice. So even if it's just 2 minutes a day, writing down some things that you're grateful for as well. Also, in terms of that emotional health and that kind of self-care side of things, it's your relationships. So how much time are you putting into catching up with people, and your family and your friends, having a phone call, having a bit of fun, doing something nice? I know things are a bit more restricted at the moment, but how can we make the most of the time that we've got together as well? How can we look for the good in people too? In terms of that emotional, it's also having a space where you feel comfortable to speak about how you're feeling, because I think again so often we do the stiff upper lip thing. Oh yeah, I'm fine, yeah, it's all good, and then things bubble up and then sometimes come to an almighty clang. So I'm really a believer of how do you bring things to the fore, how do you talk things through in a positive way when you're calm about things as well, even if it's a challenging situation. And also in that house of 4 rooms, which again helps with your self-care, and it's a practical tool that you can take some advice from, some ideas from. The final room there is around the kind of spiritual well-being. Now for me, this is when we've got a sense of purpose, we're in high spirits, and we're feeling like what we're doing is meaningful. Meditation has really helped to cultivate this for me, being more aware, being more present, being more grateful, as I've talked about as well in terms of that spiritual well-being. Other beliefs can come into this. I also kind of get a lot from Reiki, so I'm a Reiki practitioner, and that's all about energy too. So just thinking about how do we kind of promote positive energy levels in our life as well. How do we notice our energy and how do we bring good energy to situations? And when we are needing topped up, or when we are feeling a bit de-energized or sluggish, what do we need to do? Which of these rooms do we need to jump into? Is it the physical room to bring some active energy into our body? Do we need more sleep or rest? Do we need to be nourishing ourselves more effectively as well? So that's a few ideas in terms of your self-care. Now I'm going to just lead us through a little self-care meditation, which is known as the loving kindness meditation, or sometimes also termed the metta meditation. Now this is a short one that I've just written, so I'm going to put on a little bit of music, but while I'm doing that, I would just ask you to gently close down your eyes and begin to become aware of your breath. So take a few deep cleansing breaths. So inhaling through the nose, pausing, and exhaling everything out with a loud sigh through the mouth. And just continue here for a few moments. Now in this loving kindness meditation, we're first of all going to bring to mind someone who is close to you, someone that you treasure, someone that you cherish, and someone that you love. And what I'd like you to do is just place your hands on your heart and just focus on this individual and all their good qualities. Notice how the memory of that person or the thought of that person is bringing a smile to your mind, smile to your face. Notice how your breathing feels and how your body feels when you think about this individual. Bringing that feeling of love, kindness, and positivity as you think about this person. And what I want you to do is I want you to send them really positive vibes, positive intentions, and send them your love. Really positive energy. And just sit here for a few breaths. Inhaling through the nose, pausing, and exhaling everything out with a big sigh through your mouth. Internally, just say thank you to that person for everything that they've done for you, brought to your life, and how they make you feel. Really become aware of how your body's feeling right now. Now what I would like you to do is bring your attention to yourself. Often we're very hard on ourselves. This is a time to be really kind to yourself. What are some of your really good qualities? What would people who value you say about you? Think about 1 or 2 things that you've done recently that you're really proud of. And just take a few moments to just bring that positive, loving energy into your own body. Taking some deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose, pausing, and exhaling everything out with a loud sigh through the mouth. Notice how your body feels. If you get distracted or think any negative thoughts, just come back to the positive memories, positive things that you're really proud of, and characteristics. And finally, I want you to just set a really positive intention for the rest of your day. It might be something that you want to take into the weekend. I am calm might be a good one. I am relaxed. I am going to make some self-care time for myself. And just to finish up, just take a big deep breath. Exhale everything out through the mouth. And just begin to bring some movement into your hands and into your feet, maybe a big morning stretch. And when it feels comfortable to do so, just gently open your eyes and just take that feeling of loving kindness and positivity into your weekend. Thank you for joining me this morning. And as I said, if you want to hop over to my website and just have a look at some of the resources there, it's karenbonner.com. Take care. Thanks everyone. Bye.